Welcome back, you degenerates, to the #1 podcast in the world when it comes to gambling. That's us. Betting Diagonal. Mr. Mo Watts, Billy FFD. That's me. Mr. Mo Watts, how you doing tonight?
We are fucking living, my boy. How are you tonight?
I feel the same.
It was a great week one of college football action.
Yeah, we actually got after each other. Was it that was yesterday morning, right?
It was a little testy. A little testy chippy there for a little bit, going back and forth with one another.
Getting chippy.
It was a good time. It was a fun little tidbits going back and forth.
Yeah, that reminds me when we first started the show. We were going tit for tat nonstop. Now we were moving and grooving.
We've gotten soft.
Yeah, we got a little soft.
We don't come at each other enough anymore.
I had to get after you. We'll go over in a minute. I was looking for another play on Saturday, and when I first looked at the Iowa-Indiana line, I was like, kind of like Iowa. And I saw you on Indiana. I was like, this guy knows college football better than I do. So because I liked I liked it a little bit, but not enough. And I was like, fuck it, I'll ride with him. Boy, was I wrong.
It was a tough break. It was a bad beat. Not even a bad beat. It was an awful beat on my part. I did not threaten. I remember watching that score just go up and up and up. I was like, yeesh, this is not going well.
Yeah. A little recap.
You have a loser here and there. It's okay. It happens.
Yeah, no, a little recap after week 0 and week 1, I should say, through college football season. Me, myself, the #1 gambler on this show, time and time again. 19, 11, and 1. I put out way too many plays on Saturday. I put out a lot of plays that I didn't want to put out, and a lot of plays.
Week 1. What are you going to do? You can't help yourself.
Yeah, I'll get into it in a second. Mr. Mo Watts, 16, 12, and 1, respectable. That 1 is a real killer for you.
That was on my hell of a night where I lost 4 bets by a total of 1.5 points.
Yeah, that was brutal.
It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything quite like it. Was an all-time bad beat day. It was the worst beat day of my entire life.
Yeah, you guys
have been doing this for a while, and I was a broke man that night. You saw me. We were recording that night. Yeah. I was a broken man.
Yeah, we wound up not recording that show until after midnight. We get in here we're a late show. We do about 10 o'clock. We try to start. We didn't record till
about 40 minutes.
Yeah, just hang out, talk, catch up. We live in different states. It's not always the easiest thing in the world. I don't get to talk to him every single day. And then next thing you know, we're still here at 1:30, and I got the producer texting me, "Hey, where's the episode?" I was like, "Hey, buddy, we just started recording."
But it was a great episode.
Yeah, Mr. Joe Green was like, "I have to go to bed."
If you take a look at the YouTube, plug the YouTube right now, go take a watch. Decent chance you might see a tear or 5 roll out of my eyes.
You'll see me throw shit across the room at the end of the episode.
It was real painful. Like I said, I was a broke man. I texted you the first thing that morning, and I said, I am broken. Simple.
Because it didn't get any better.
I didn't want to believe that it happened. I thought at least my sure thing of Arizona State hitting the over was at least going to happen. They just decide they're not going to score pretty much for the last 18 minutes of the game.
I stayed up and watched that whole game.
That was torture. I went to bed. I was like, all right, easier bet. Fine. No big deal. I'll at least go. I was going to go 2-2, or I was probably going 2-3 that night at that point, because that last one ended up being the push. Yeah. I needed 1 fucking point. Easy enough. All you had to do, 1 point. Simple. Plenty of time on the clock. I wake up the next morning. Everybody who watches this show knows I'm not good at math. I had to do math a lot to make sure that I was doing the math correctly. And I fucking pushed. Are you kidding me?
You can see me throw things across the room because of Boise. Thank God you missed the end of the Ohio State game. That was bad. I was yelling at Morgan for not listening to me.
I still hate C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud and I have the biggest love-hate relationship of any college football player I've ever seen.
Oh, listen, I'll be in Ohio State, and next weekend I'll be in the Horseshoe, Section 30. 30A, row
I'll be looking
7.
forward.
Whenever you want to come find me, talk some
We're
gambling,
gonna
you
take
let
a.
me know.
I want you to bring a sign. I want to just see a big betting the diagonal sign.
I might. I'm honestly really thinking about it. Just real quick, I wanted to say something because I know you have all these notes about who you're in on, who you're out on.
I'm out on a lot
Recap.
of people after this
Yeah.
week.
I just want to clarify on what I was talking about. Why my record should be better than what it was. Was it Saturday morning or Friday night? I think it was.
Late Friday night, or maybe early Saturday morning, like wee hours.
I didn't sleep the night before. I was up all night. Couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to start getting that feeling in my stomach of really a full day of gambling again. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
get the itch.
So I send Mr. Mo Watts and Mike from FFD, who's also a gambler, but he refuses to put any picks because he's a bitch. I send him things I'm looking at, picks that I really am real strong on, right? Including picks like UCLA money line, Alabama spread, Alabama first half, Marshall, and a couple others. I chose not to bet on Alabama, Marshall, Alabama first half, or UCLA on my final card.
Yeah.
I had some sort of Alabama exposure in a parlay and in a teaser, and same thing with UCLA. So like that was fine. I wasn't really crazy worried about it. But as far as like the records go, like I don't put my parlays up there. So I wound up going 7-6 on some other picks that I probably shouldn't have put up there. It's a learning lesson, I think. Stick with your gut, because I could have had a massive day. I could have went like 11-2, 12-1, depending on what I took out. It could have been a massive day, and I'm quite upset. I would have already won the season. I would have won the season.
All right, let's not get too crazy now.
Morgan, if I go 11-1 on the first weekend,
you forget that I am the man of multiple double-digit heaters on this podcast. I just keep them churning out. It's what I do. I keep throwing winners left and right.
I didn't have one losing week in NHL.
Nobody cares about NHL. Nobody cares about NHL.
I'm just going to say not many people on the internet can do that.
I think of our viewers right now, we probably have 5 people who care about the NHL picks. Everybody comes here for the basketball football picks.
There's
got to be one out there somewhere. Everyone who's here is for basketball and football. There's one person somewhere. We appreciate you going for NHL picks. Spread the love. We're here. We're NHL gamblers. I'm not me. Billy's an NHL gambler. He's not bad at it. He had a pretty good season last year. So I feel like the season's right around the corner. Puck's going to drop. Get pucks on net. Bills and bank accounts.
Pucks in deep, baby. I kind of agree with a lot of stuff you said. Like I read this part of your notes because you asked me if I read your notes. So I was like, "Fuck no, I don't read whatever you write." So why don't you go ahead and give me some breakdowns here?
Yeah. So a few things I just wanted to get. Some thoughts of Week 1, game of the week. Is there any question what the game of the week was?
Absolutely not.
That Florida State Notre Dame game was phenomenal. Another game that was a heartbreaker as someone who had Notre Dame -7.
I will say, No, nothing about the pick you made. I want to say that it made that game so much better.
It did. I
was on that side,
back and forth. I missed it.
And everybody else I knew was on Notre Dame. Yeah. It made me feel so much better.
Notre Dame should have been the play. They were up by 18.
No, it shouldn't have been the play.
They were up by 18 in the fourth quarter and decided just not to score again.
Hey.
And not move the ball. They didn't get a single. I don't think they got a single first down the remainder of the fourth quarter. Yeah. And they didn't even get. I don't think they got They didn't get a first down in overtime either. They didn't get a single first down after the third. It was unbelievable. They were cooking.
I almost broke my desk from slamming on it.
I remember very vividly texting you, getting very cocky because I was like, "This is what I told you was going to happen," and it looked great.
First quarter. He said that the first quarter.
Oh, he scored right away. Less than 2 minutes in the game, we're on the board. Like, oh boy, you're in trouble.
I'm not in trouble. I'm never in trouble.
That game was fucking phenomenal, though. That was an all-time game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of the best college football games I've ever witnessed. I watched every second of that game.
It might have been the best college football game I've ever seen. It was so good. I had one of my things here. Jack Cohn, Wisconsin transfer senior, Entered the season at plus 5,000 for a Heisman. Put up 4 touchdowns opening night.
Yeah, well,
no quarterback. He put up the most passing yards for a Notre Dame first-time starter ever.
Think
about that.
There's a stat
Notre Dame has seen. Like, that's unbelievable.
There was a stat that came on the screen. He needs 1 yard.
Yeah.
And he threw like 6 straight fucking incompletions.
It was
like, this kid's not going to do it.
Mental warfare with
He
that
got
game.
it in overtime.
That was just a crazy game. Like I said, that game was so much fun to watch. We were going back and forth the entire time.
Yeah.
We were going for periods where I was quiet. We were periods where you were quiet and I was chirping you. And then it just came to the end. And we're sitting at the end and we're just meeting in the middle. Like, this is a fucking phenomenal game. Win or lose, this has been an amazing game to watch.
Yeah, the second it went to OT, he was like, "Oh, do I win automatically?" I'm like, no. Like, we could both still lose this game. I was like, regardless, like, this was worth it.
Right now, what is happening?
Yeah.
That was the only game I watched the entirety of a game this entire weekend, and I'm damn glad that was the one I watched the entire thing of.
I watched so many games.
I'll have a little bit more about Notre Dame going in a little bit, but I got to just talk about one person that was on that Notre Dame team. The best player in college football, Kyle Hamilton. That dude is phenomenal.
That interception was nutty.
Which one? The first or the second?
The second one when he
the opposite side of the field before the ball was being released and he was still 30 yards away and he closed that fast.
The one where he did the diving catch, dude.
Oh my God. He is phenomenal. He took the one long touchdown. He messed up. He took a real bad route on the deep ball.
You know why?
Cost him big.
Because that's when the announcer said, "Oh, he's a guaranteed top 5 pick." That same play, he gets burned.
Bad juju. It was immediate bad juju.
It wasn't even his fault. Like, he should have been there for the coverage, for the help, but it wasn't really his fault.
It looked like it was either a cover 2 or a cover 3 defense, so he had to read the field. What's his face? I don't know if it was Milton or Travis who was a quarterback. I think it was Travis was the quarterback.
Still Travis.
Like, he did it. Like, Travis, we were saying, I said to you, Travis is not a great thrower. He made some very nice throws, but he's got a lot of work to do. Like, you could tell he's got a ton of work. Like, he could be something, but he made a really nice play looking him off and pushing him over to the left side of the field on that, giving him the space. And the corner, I don't know what the corner was doing, if he just wasn't fast enough.
He just got burnt right off the line.
Like, he dropped it right in. Like, great. It was a great throw. Like I said, great game. Other thoughts on the week. Top quarterbacks really underwhelmed me. We talked last week a little bit. Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell. They both did not play that well. Spencer Rattler put up some numbers, but I think they were very empty numbers.
Yes.
Like, that was against a Tulane team that's not that great. I think looking back at it, we probably should have looked at Tulane a little bit more as dealing with the hurricane and stuff. They're going to have a nice little bit of extra juice coming in.
I don't know, because I was on the opposite side of that with LSU and.
Yeah, it's weird. It could have gone either way. Like, even the LSU one, you would think that would work in their favor. LSU just sucks.
No, that's a distraction, man. You don't know, like, they have all the stuff in the dorm.
Came out
like,
great. Tulane came out like.
Imagine this: you're a nice college kid. You just got that little money from the NIL, right? You know what you did? You went out, bought yourself a brand new, crispy clean PS5, right? Then you have to evacuate the building because a hurricane's coming, and then you're on a road trip to somewhere else, right? Just imagine this. The entire game, you're just sitting there thinking, "Hey, I wonder if my PS5 made it through that storm." Wonder. You got to remember, these kids are 18, 19, 20 years old. Yeah. They're young. You never know. You don't know what's going on in their domes.
Yeah, you're right. It's that. Like we said, I thought Tulane came out roll. They had nothing to lose. There was absolutely nothing for Tulane to lose in that game. Everything to gain. LSU had a ton to lose, and you saw it very clearly with those two teams. Sam Howell, I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass on that game because I'll give him a slight of a pass just because Virginia Tech's defense is very good. Whereas Rattler, I'm not going to give as much of a pass because Tulane doesn't have a great defense. Rattler just was erratic. It was playing hero ball the majority of the first half before he finally started to put it together.
Yeah, I mean, he did go 30 for 39, 305
2
yards.
Picks against a Tulane team.
Like, one of the picks was bad. The other one wasn't bad. One of them was like, what the fuck is that? Like, you call him a Heisman candidate?
That's well, yeah. His Heisman. Well, I'm pretty sure
I don't like him.
one of my my new favorite for the Heisman. I tweeted a little bit clip of him on Saturday. Mr. Matt Corral plus 1,500. Big time Matt Corral guy.
Yeah.
I'll probably actually throw a Jack Cohn bet in there now too.
Even just like when we talked about Oklahoma, because I bet Oklahoma and I lost. It was brutal to watch. I watched most of that comeback, but I said I'm not a big Rattler guy. I think he kind of stinks.
I wanted to watch that game because of Rattler and those games because of two quarterbacks, because the Eagles could need a quarterback. I was not impressed in the slightest bit. I do not want either of them on my team.
I just remember texting you during the USC game just over and over again. Future Eagles great. Future Eagles great.
It's unbelievable. I was like, this guy stinks. But moving a little bit forward, things I'm in on after week 1. Number 1, I'm in on Notre Dame big time.
Get out of here.
I'm in on Notre Dame all the way. I think they're definitely going to challenge for a top 6 team now. And if there's something kind of slips up in front of them, I think they could be a playoff. And I think they can make some noise. They got to figure out the defense. They got torched by Florida State. But that offense was clicking. They have a great attack. I'll get into a little bit more Notre Dame later because I have a play for Notre Dame for this week. But I was very impressed with what I saw in that offense. Defense needs some works, but we'll see. Sleeper first round quarterbacks.
I love the third one. Love the third one.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? Sleeper first, like I said, Matt Corral, Keaton Slovis from USC, Carson Strong from Nevada. All those guys put up nice numbers. They looked pretty decent. I love Carson Strong. I think he's going to be really good.
I bet on that game. I live bet that game at halftime. It was still 14-13. I live bet Nevada. I'm so happy I did. Yeah, and whoever they have a big wideout out there. He's an NFL wideout.
Yeah, they've got bodies, and it's not I don't know. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know well enough. I can't say I follow a lot of Nevada football too often.
I think it was number 19. I'll look him up.
I probably follow a little bit more this year because of Carson Strong, because I do like him. I would not mind seeing him as the Eagles quarterback of the future. We'll see what happens, but those sleeper quarterbacks who kind of hanging around the second round range right now, they put up some numbers. They've had great weeks. Keaton Slovis is more of a field general quarterback, but that place, there's guys like that in the league. USC doesn't really have the stars for the most part, but they put out the guys who have long careers still. So I think he'll be out there for a long time. The number 3 one, Billy was alluding to, I am big on Alabama. How do you?
Alabama national championship. It's over.
It's unbelievable. You thought maybe they're going to take a little bit of a dip, but they're still going to be a dominant force. Lock it in right now. Bryce Young is the first overall pick in the 2023 draft. He doesn't have to play another game in his college career. That was phenomenal what he did. I was amazing. He looked every part of his. I was actually reading scouting reports of him today. His scouting report is Russell Wilson, and he looked every much like Russell Wilson with a bigger arm and faster. Like, he is something else. He is going to be very special. Alabama's starting to put some quarterbacks out there. He's going to be the best one that they've had.
I don't think. Actually, never mind. I thought I found the receiver. I don't think it's the guy. No, it's not.
Yeah, like I said, Alabama, they're great. They have Will Anderson at defensive end, another guy projected top 5 in the 2023 draft. It's a factory. They just keep coming left and right. Tommy Brockermeyer on the offensive line, he's just going to be locking it down for years to come. Alabama, all the way. You can't not say, okay, Alabama's not going to win the title. If you're sitting here today saying Alabama's not going to win the title, you're nuts. You don't know college football. You don't know gambling. Other one I'm going to be in, UCLA is back. And not just UCLA. Visor Chip Kelly is back.
I knew it, and I didn't bet it.
I did, yeah. I forgot to bet it.
Still sick to my stomach.
We said it in the show. We said it in the episode. And I didn't get the chance to take a look and notice it. As soon as I saw it and everything, I was like, damn, there it is. I saw it, ready for it. Visor Chip Kelly is back. That is a Chip Kelly that's real deal. That's the Oregon Chip Kelly. That's the first year with the Eagles Chip Kelly before things start to fall apart. They can control the line of scrimmage as well as the teams I've seen in week 1. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, there was a lot of questions about him at quarterback. Would he be able to handle a Chip Kelly offense? Is he a good enough passer? Wait, so we got some power up here in New York.
Nah, it's the
freaking ring.
I'll be in the dark for a minute.
But the most impressive thing about that game to me, LSU has very good players on the defensive side of the ball. They have two cornerbacks who are first-round picks. Derek Stingley is a top 10 pick in this year's draft. Dorian Thompson-Robinson picked them apart. They don't have that great of receivers, and he did work against them. What does that say for the Derek Stingley? I don't know. I still think he is a top corner in all of college football. I think they're the best duo in college football. But to me now, UCLA is the clear, and I know I said Arizona State last time we talked college football. UCLA is clear as day to me the favorite of the Pac-12 now. They putting it all together. Chip Kelly again. Guy can't coach in the NFL, but he can coach in college, and he can put together one hell of a team. Ohio State's offense, man, that is a fun offense to watch. They are explosive. 5 touchdowns, all of over 35 yards. We said it here last episode. Trevion Henderson is going to be an absolute stud, true freshman running back. Had a 75-yard screen that he took to the house. The fastest guy on the field by far. He just blew away everybody. Like, granted, I sent you the thing. I think Barstool put it out. 99 speed versus an 82 speed in Madden. Like, he just was gone. Yeah. But that dude, he has game-changing speed. They need to find a way to get him the ball more. Master Teague.
They will.
Nice back. Nothing special. Henderson needs
to
see
terrible.
The ball
he looked terrible.
Master Teague is a fullback or a linebacker. He is too big to be running that football. So I'm big time in on the Ohio State offense. Let's see what C.J. Stroud does. Maybe Billy will bring me some good juju with him. If not, hopefully he gets benched. And my guy Kyle McCord, local product from just outside of Philly, can get some touches. He also has his receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., same high school. They set Pennsylvania State records together with passing yards, passing touchdowns, you name it. Last one I'm in on big, and I said this last week. I said this was a sleeper team for me that I'm really watching at plus 8,000 could make a little bit of noise. NC State. NC State looks fucking awesome. Did I not say that defense might be the best defense in the country?
It definitely looks like it.
They are absolutely amazing. They got a good showing out of what is his name? Devin Leary at quarterback. He played pretty well. They got an All-American linebacker. Their defense will keep them in every single game. That ACC is now wide open with Clemson going down week 1. NC State could run the table. NC State could beat Clemson. I definitely think that's a very good case. They can beat Miami. I think they can beat Virginia Tech. I think they can take down North Carolina. NC State very well could win the ACC this season. It's all going to come down to what does that offense do? They have the ground and pound attack. They have 2 very nice running backs. I'll get into them a little bit more later. Big time in on NC State. Before I move on to outs, any thoughts on any of those things?
No, everything you said, I 100% agree with. The NC State backfield looked phenomenal. I was going to talk about it when we both have them on our card again this week, which I absolutely hate that we both have them on. It's the first thing I texted you when I saw your card. Yep. I was like, I fucking hate that. At the same time, I like it. That sometimes it changes my pick. Like sometimes it changes my pick, but not always it does. And that was when I was like, nah, that's my pick.
Not that one. All right, so a few things I'm out on. The prospective first-round quarterbacks, Rattler, Howe, and next year, DJ Ugalele.
I don't know. I want to see one more week from Ugalele. I do, because George's D looked really good. He looked bad. He didn't look good.
His decision-making was bad, and his pocket awareness was terrifying to me. Like, granted, Clemson's line did not hold up against Georgia. Not in the slightest bit. But if you're a top quarterback and you've been billed as a top quarterback, you're a 5-star pro-style quarterback recruit. You filled in admirably for Trevor Lawrence last year. Trevor Lawrence ain't coming out of that tunnel.
He was in the stadium. That was bad juju. That was bad juju.
DJ Ugalele, he's got the strongest arm of any quarterback in football. He can chuck it. He can run a little bit. He's got the talent. Does he have the head capacity? I don't know yet. I don't know if he reads the defense well enough. I don't know if he can read blitzes come enough. He got beat up. Something to watch going forward. But as of right now, I'm out on it.
That team has a little work to do because they lost a lot of pieces last year and on both sides of the ball. So
yeah, they're replacing a ton of great talent on their offense. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I like your thought. Give him a little bit more time. It's just that was only one
of the stinks. I knew that. And I was never a Rattler guy.
I tried to talk myself into both Howell and Rattler the past few weeks because the Eagles need a quarterback next year. I'm out on both of them. I told you last time, Hal reminded me of Baker Mayfield. Rattler had a little bit of Mahomes in him, but no, not anymore.
Listen,
it's gone.
I've known Spencer Rattler from his high school basketball days. I'm that kind of fucking weird guy who watches like the All-American high school basketball games and whatnot. He's not an athlete.
No, he stinks.
He was like that high school athlete who was a star and got a tattoo at 16.
He's a hate the face guy too. Big time hate the face guy.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably good. He's probably good, but in my book, he'll never be good.
I want nothing on him. Speaking of Rattler, his team I'm out on. Oklahoma. Yeah, I know I said Oklahoma at plus 800 was one of my favorites for the title. I'm out. That defense was, we said it last week. We both agreed on it. Their chance of winning, that defense has to take that next step. That defense was awful against Tulane. Absolutely dreadful. And Tulane is one of the easier opponents they're going to have this entire season. Iowa State, if they don't figure it out, Iowa State is going to beat them. Plain and simple. Texas played great this first week. Texas might come in and beat them in the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma State could take them down. I'm out on Oklahoma big time, unless that defense really bumps it up and plays better.
I watched that whole game. That defense looked like a joke. It was no plays that entire game that I thought like, I mean like they could just work on that and get better because defense like. Offense, like if you don't have the skill set or you don't have the talent there, you're not. It doesn't matter how good a coaching staff is or whatnot. Like on defensive side of the ball, you can coach your way around it, but like there was no adjustment. If anything, the adjustments were worse. Like it was terrible. I don't ever want to watch another Oklahoma football game ever again.
It sucks too because like they have a fun offense to watch, but it's just I don't want to see shootouts every single week. Yeah. I don't want to see. I want to see some defense. You know, as miserable as that Penn State-Wisconsin game was, that game was kind of fun to watch because it was just a slugfest. That Clemson-Georgia game, that was a slugfest to watch, and I enjoyed watching it. I don't need to see Oklahoma putting up 50 to win a 50-49 game every single week. But yeah, I mean, if we want to bet overs all the time, awesome, cool, I'm all for it. But not here for it. Two title teams. We'll just throw them in together. Clemson and Ohio State. I'm out on both of them. I'm out on Clemson completely. Ohio State's defense. We agreed on this one. We are out on Ohio State's defense.
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, I think that you can coach around it. You can make adjustments. I think.
Yeah, we think.
I think. I don't know.
It was painful to watch. You know, like where was the pass rush? There was no pass rush the entire game. Jack Sawyer, where the hell were you at? You're supposed to be this phenomenal recruit coming in to just D-line you. I saw nothing.
I didn't even know he was on the field.
That entire game. Yeah, we didn't know. We were saying it. We were watching together. We had no clue he was on the field half the time. Like he was completely quiet.
Why they covered that game was because the Gophers running back got hurt.
Yeah.
And shout out to him. He had a game of his life. I kind of saw it coming too. He was on his 35th carry in the third
running
quarter.
him into the ground.
And I'm like, what is this team doing? Like, he was the only person carrying the ball. Like, you have seven other running backs on the roster.
As much as I was on, obviously, Ohio State in that game, if he didn't get hurt, I probably would have considered a Minnesota moneyline live bet during the game.
Absolutely. They were in full control.
He was phenomenal. Shame, hopefully, speedy recovery to him. Maybe he'll get a red shirt, medical red shirt if he's lucky. He was fun to watch. Like it was painful to watch, but
Minnesota was winning up until he got hurt.
Yeah, Minnesota was controlling the lines of scrimmage. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Minnesota had a great O-line.
First round caliber left tackle. I can't think of his name, but I know he's like 6'9", 390 pounds.
Big dudes.
Like they have hog mollies out there. Yeah. You know, it's
the average size I think was like 6'7", 340, which is like that's bigger than average.
It's unbelievable. It'd probably be like the biggest line in the NFL. Like it's absolutely insane.
NFL linemen are smaller because they have to be faster.
More athletic and everything. That'd be quicker. To go with that, Clemson. I'm out on Clemson now. Their title chances are gone. They're not going to get back in the top four with the playoff. They're playing for an Orange Bowl, something like that at this point. They're done. Like I said a little bit ago on Ugalele, he looked lost. He was under attack the entire night. The bright lights. He didn't look great. I just don't love it. We'll see what happens. Maybe he turns it around, but their title chances are now done for the year. We said last week, whoever wins that game is going to run the table and go undefeated in their conference and division. In the case of the SEC, Georgia's going to go undefeated now, more than likely. Our offense obviously didn't look great either. It was a big-time defensive struggle. JT Daniels didn't look that good, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That was just the tempo of the game was more of a defensive struggle. They found a way to win. That's what matters at the end of the day.
Georgia doesn't play Bama this year?
No, they do not. Not until the title game.
Lucky.
They're in the opposite divisions. Every year. That's why they end up meeting all the time in the title game.
Beautiful.
So they got a shot to run it. They got a shot to represent the SEC. I wouldn't be shocked if both of them are top 4 teams that hit the playoff at the end of the year. And then last one I'm definitely out on. We mentioned a little bit LSU. I have a hot-ish take. I think Ed Ogeron is on the hot seat.
There's just nobody on the team. It's not a good team.
Yeah. Even that, I think he could be on the hot seat. I think you could see him ousted by the end of the year. I know everybody loves Coach O. I love Coach O. He's an awesome dude. He's fun as hell. He's easy to root.
You can't be out when you win a natty. You can't be out.
Oh, no.
Not that soon, dude. That was 2 years ago.
I've seen strange. Gus Malzahn at Auburn was out only a couple of years after winning the title. This is the SEC we're talking about.
But you also know that they'll get the recruits. It takes some time.
The problem is
you got to remember that team had like 20 seniors on the starting lineup when they won.
It's the same story as it's always been with LSU. They cannot recruit a quarterback. Yeah. They got lucky with Joe Burrow transferring to them. Who's the last quarterback that LSU brought in who was – even Jamarcus Russell wasn't that great.
Jamarcus Russell is one of the worst NFL quarterbacks of all time.
His college, that year they won a title with him,
yeah.
He wasn't that impressive. It's just – it was the Raiders picking first overall. So I am out on LSU. You had anybody you're out on, or do you want to go right to picks?
No, we want to go right to picks, but before that, we have some news to announce. Some big news. I take a sip of water before I announce the news. I have to read it kind of from a script, and I don't want to mess it up. Cough in between, Quick little hydrate. So before we get into the picks, me, Morgan, Benzagno, FFD, Pick 6 are proud to announce what will hopefully be a long partnership with FanDuel. Use our link that will be down below in the description of YouTube and sign up now by clicking the link and signing up in legal gambling states. Of course, you will have access to everything that FanDuel has to offer. If you're interested in playing DFS like me, I will have the link in all of my articles that I put every week, and you'll have the link to sign up as well, especially for this is all for new users. The more people click that link, the better we can make this show, the higher quality. Morgan will finally be able to have some full-on lights in his house. My light won't go out all the time. He'll be able to have a microphone.
You might even get a podcasting studio at some point down the line.
Listen. I'm gonna have to move into Morgan's house.
We got the extra room. We discussed this. We got the podcasting room.
Yeah, we had a long discussion about a gambling cave. But anyway, be sure to click the link down below. But let me tell you this: while you're clicking that link, there's another link right above it. It says subscribe in big bold letters in the red on YouTube. Click that link, guys. Please, it means the world to us. Like the videos. It lets us know how we're doing. Leave us a comment in the bottom if you like our picks, you want to fade our picks. But yes, FanDuel, we're here. We're coming.
We're happy to be a part of the FanDuel family now.
Yeah,
we are happy to represent. We hope we do them good service. I'm sure articles that I put up with NFL this year will have that link in there as well. Get in there, click on it, subscribe like Billy said. It's not hard. You can subscribe and mute us if you want. If you don't want to hear us, if you don't want to look at our ugly mugs, that's fine. Just mute us. We don't take hard feelings to it.
Listen, we were looking at the analytics. You can see who is a subscriber and who's not as the viewers. Like it says, subscribe viewers. Half of you people aren't subscribers. Just click the link.
Yeah,
and
it's click.
Like Joe, I have to legally call him Joe. You know who I'm talking about. Joe, Mr. Joe Green himself said that, well, not everybody has a YouTube account. It's 2021. Make a Gmail account and subscribe for your boys. Do it for the boys. What do you say? For the one time, for the guys making you money.
One time for the boys.
Yeah, for the guys making you money week in, week out. You know.
If you rode with us this past week, you made money. You had a good week. We have a good week. You support us. We want to give you a good week. You know,
absolutely.
we don't want to give you losers because then it's a double loss for us. It makes us look bad and we lose money. That's not what we're here for. We want to make some money.
We're definitely not here to lose money. That's what Greg was here for. Now he's no longer here. So
see what happens when you lose us money? We kick you off.
Yeah, you may have to fade my my picks that are on the card on Saturday. I'll be with Greg and Joe all weekend, and Joe is notoriously bad juju, and I'll be in the car for 9 hours with Greg. So take that with what you will. But speaking of being in the car for 9 hours, I have my first pick, and I'm gonna get it rolling, Mr. Mo.
Yeah, you take it. I talked a while. It's your turn. Lead us off.
I'm just gonna go through the whole card, and then you go through your whole card. We'll do it like that. Fair.
Cool.
So I want to be able to talk a little bit because I want to shock you with my second one. But the first one, you probably saw this one coming. It's going to be Ohio State minus 14 once again. And I like the over. It's a lean for me currently at 63.5. I'm going to be in the building. I'm going to be section 30A, trying to find me, hang out with me. I'm trying to make a sign just to make Morgan happy. I was going to say, it's going to say subscribe. My sign will say subscribe to the YouTube. Anyway, we all know Ohio State can put up points. But the problem is they can't stop anybody. So that's why I kind of like the over. But Thibodeau, probably the number one pick in the draft. He's easily the best defensive player in the country. Left the game, high ankle sprain with a walking boot. Similar to kind of the injury that Michael Thomas had. If you watch the NFL, don't look good. They also lost their number one linebacker, Drew Mathis, last week. And that's kind of when the game kind of fell apart for them because they were leading against Fresno. And I thought my Fresno bet was dust when it comes to Oregon. But, if you can't cover against Fresno, and they almost lost outright against Fresno in the end. So I really like the Ohio State pick, especially because Thibodeau is questionable to play. But Drew Mathis, who I kind of like, Thibodeau's a game changer, and he was dominating the Fresno team.
Absolutely dominating.
But, Fresno's O-line is not nearly as good as Ohio State's line is, so, he won't be in the backfield every single play if he does play. But Drew Mathis calls the plays. He's the centerpiece of that defense. He's probably a first-round pick as well. I'm on Ohio State. I've already bet it. I'll be on the Ohio State money line as well in a parlay. I may give out the parlay just because I won't have a big card on Saturday, just because I won't be watching all the games, so it'll be hard for me to keep up. A little bit
of libations, so it'll be a little tough.
It's an understatement, but I'm gonna go live. I might do my card in video and tweet it out. We'll see. I'm interested to see how CJ Stroud settles in after his first start. He looked kind of rattled in the first half, and then he kind of settled in because the first half we were talking a lot of shit.
Wasn't happy, not happy at all. The first half
we were saying bench this kid. The whole internet was. It wasn't just us. I didn't want to bench him, but I was like, this kid stinks. They have too many weapons. The Oregon secondary isn't great, so I do think that Ohio State, especially if Thibodeau is out, they should win somewhat easily. I don't think it becomes all that close if he's out. My next pick, this is the one that might shock you.
I'm intrigued. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for this one.
Washington Huskies +7 against Michigan. Sprinkle the money line. Sprinkle that money line. It's currently at 6.5. I want to see it go to 7. I'll take the 6.5, no problem. Because I just know it's gonna go to 7 because the overreaction with the public from last week from Washington losing to Montana. Most people don't realize that Washington was out there without their 4 best wide receivers last week. They're gonna get 3 of them back. The other guy's out for the year. He's never coming back. He's dead. He's dead. He got hit by a bus.
He's just not coming back.
He's just never coming. No, he's not. He's out for the season. I don't trust Harbaugh. I said it last week. That's why I didn't. I wanted to bet Michigan last week. I was like, I can't do it. Harbaugh, not a great coach. But this is the classic definition of buy low, sell high after week one. When it comes to any sport, if it comes to first week of NFL, college football, NBA, definitely college basketball. Like those lines are absurd. If you're gonna give me a whole touchdown against John Harbaugh, and last week, if you look at the early lines, Washington was favorited.
I hate the way you're saying that. Harbaugh.
I hate him. That's why I'm like Harbaugh.
Oh my god, it's driving me crazy.
Anyway, let me get through it. Yeah, you might call. You think this is crazy before I go on?
No, actually, I kind of like that pick, to be honest.
Oh, fuck you.
I
hate it now. I am
not a Michigan supporter. I don't believe in John Harbaugh either. I'm not a big fan. The only real thing I actually do like about the Michigan team is I do like J.J. McCarthy, their freshman quarterback. He came in for a little bit, had a really couple of nice throws. I believe he threw a really nice touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I'm not in on Michigan, so I actually do like that pick. Washington is sneaky competitive. Their win total for the year was set at 8.5, and I had this as a possible win for them as going into their win total. I don't hate that pick. I don't hate that pick at all, honestly. I probably won't play it.
I'm playing.
But I don't hate that in the slightest bit.
I'm just waiting for this to go to 7 because I know it is.
You know, one of the things I always look for, especially in a game like this where you go against a Big Ten type of team, is your offensive line play. Washington has a lineman. His last name is Kirkland. I think his first name is Jackson, if I'm not mistaken.
That's an All-American name right there.
He's an absolute phenomenal. I think he's a left tackle at Washington. He projects more as a guard in the NFL, which is nothing wrong with that. Quentin Nelson was a tackle at Notre Dame, and he's the best guard in the NFL right now. So I always look to the interior, that line play, especially when you have the bigger guy and everything. Michigan does have a really nice edge rusher in Aiden Hutchinson, but I lean and trust the superior All-American left tackle over an All Big Ten defensive end.
Yeah,
he's not playing for Ohio State. This isn't Chase Young.
This is, like I said, this is just a classic case of the public overreacting. I don't know the line, the look ahead line. It's not like the true line. Like it's like what Vegas predicts it's going to be. They had Washington a 3-point favorite on the road, and now they lost 10 points because they lost to a team without that they had no weapons for, and like they didn't care about that game. Like sure, like when you're in the Pac-12, you kind of need to win every game, but listen, this is a team that's been competitive every single year. So give me the +6.5, +7. I'd love it better if it's at the 7. I think the public's going to bet this all the way to 7.5. To be honest with you, and I'm going to sprinkle the money line. That's not an official play. You won't be on Twitter for the money line, but
I do like that. I'm going to consider that because I do like that play a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's not as crazy. I think as you making it think.
Well, listen, you're a square, so what do you want from me? The next one I'm just going to go over. I'm going to let you talk about it more when it's your turn. NC State -2.5 versus Mississippi State. NC State might be my new favorite team to watch. They keep up that defensive energy, keep wearing those black jerseys. Last week they had 2 100-yard rushers. The quarterback threw 200 yards. Like you said, the big thing is they bring back 10 people back on defense. They showed why that's important last week. Next up, I love this one too. This is a team that I wanted to bet on last week. A team that I bet on in every college sport, just because I love them. One of the best cities in the world. Buffalo +14.5 against Nebraska. I also love the over. Yeah, you like that, don't you?
I do like that pick a lot.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that one. Horns up, baby, horns up. I wish last week my book had a line for the game against Wagner. And then I think I texted Mike or you. I don't remember who. I was like, does anybody have a line? But I was like, they're going to win by 60. That's what the game didn't start yet. I said, they're going to win by 60. They won by 60. Buffalo just puts points up like you wouldn't believe. Listen, I put this up on my card. I wanted to put it up last week for Buffalo, but we all know the rules. you can't put things up on Twitter that you don't gamble on. So therefore, I couldn't put it up. I could have put up the line right before because I found it out, but I didn't gamble on it, so I didn't put it up. This one, I think that the Huskers can't really stop anybody. They couldn't stop. What was it? Illinois. They played week 0.
Yep.
Buffalo can outscore them. Do I dare sprinkle the money line? No, probably not. But I do think that this is within a touchdown. I think it's pretty easily within a touchdown. It opened up at 14.5. I've already taken it. It's down to 13.5. I love that. The Sharps were on it on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, I bet that last night. That was one of the first things I looked at. I loved it. I really like the over at 54 because I don't think that Huskers can stop anybody, and they'll be able to score enough points to cover the 54 on the over. That'll probably be in my car, but I'm currently just as lean. Last college pick, I have Iowa State minus 4.5 versus Iowa. I blame you for the Indiana thing. But this is a new week. This is a new week. I'm not going to get into it again. I thought about getting back into it. And I was like, should I get after him again? No, I'm not going to. This is an overreaction line again. This should be more towards like a 7.5, 8-point game spread. I mean, Iowa State, they have a possibility of being contention for a playoff spot if everything goes perfect for them. Iowa, they beat Indiana. That means nothing. Indiana stinks. You watched that game. I saw that game. And half their points came off of defensive touchdowns. So they didn't prove they can score. Iowa State's the better team. We knew that going into the season. They didn't really, as far as Iowa State went, they really didn't give us anything on offense. They're kind of the type of team that plays down to the competition. They've done that for a few years now. That I do know, because Iowa State is always a team I kind of like to watch. I love the Cyclones. I watch a lot of their college basketball games. So I was like, I watch Iowa State college football as well. I'd be willing to take the Cyclones up to 6.5. I think that this one's pretty solid. This might be my bet of the week. How about you go into your college games after that, and then we'll finish off with the Thursday night plays.
Absolutely, yeah. Hold on, just bear with me a moment because I actually just added another play.
I can go into the college.
No, I'm good now.
Okay.
Sorry, keep talking.
Yeah, I was just gonna go into the leans real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm leaning towards Rutgers minus 2.5. I know Mr. Mo Watts likes his over in that game. Rutgers look very good. Syracuse looked decent. They both played real bad teams, but Rutgers looked really good. I didn't think that Rutgers would be the team that scored the most points in the country last week. I didn't see that coming. I thought it'd be Buffalo, but and then Air Force minus 6.5 because Navy stinks. They are very bad at everything, and I'll probably wind up fading Hawaii late night because I'll be blackout drunk. But that won't be on the card. That'll be a personal pick. But I just wanted to share that with you because that's kind of what I do. I like to give the listeners a little inside voice, and if Alabama is laying anything under 50, take it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'll take up to 60 in Alabama probably.
Yep.
They're just that freaking good. It's absolutely unbelievable what they're capable of. But all right, sorry about that. I got my little note there situated for that, whatever this play is. So I have six college plays that I'm going to be looking at. First one that I really like, and this is probably my favorite college football team in general. Tennessee Volunteers plus 3.5 versus Pittsburgh. This is a weird line because you're giving points to an SEC team that recruits very well, that had really good quarterback play last week, and giving it to a Pittsburgh team that is just historically does not play well against the SEC. Against Tennessee, historically they're 2-2. However, their margin of victory is actually minus double digits for Pittsburgh in those games. So they just don't match up well against Tennessee historically. Historically, against the SEC, they were over 10 games under 500 against the SEC. It's based on the talent. Tennessee is bringing in 5-star, 4-star recruits. Pittsburgh is getting the trickle-down guys. They're not bringing in those type of guys unless they're guys who want to stay home. Pittsburgh beat up on a really bad UMass team last week. And I think people are looking at that like, oh, they put up a monster number against this team. UMass stinks. The UMass isn't good in any sport. The last time UMass was anything of a threat in any sport was when Marcus Camby was playing center way back in the 90s. Like, they aren't good in anything.
Yeah.
They're a smart school. They're not in the sports school.
Yeah, when Coach Cal was their coach, they're good in college hockey, but zero people watch college hockey.
I don't think we're betting on college hockey.
I know one other person. I'm like deep into like hockey culture. I know one other person that watches college hockey.
I'd be down to get into some college hockey, but I know nothing.
Electric.
Tennessee's offense played really well. They had one quarter, the second quarter, where they really kind of lost their rhythm and everything, but they were a real balanced attack. Tennessee's issue has been quarterback play. If they can get good quarterback play, they're not going to win the SEC, but they can threaten. They can get a bowl game. They can be an 8, possibly 9-win team. You're giving me the points against Tennessee. I'm going to take Tennessee money line as well. Might not be an official play on the card, but I will take the 3.5 with Tennessee all day. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I mean, maybe I'm missing something.
No,
I don't think.
Overreactions, bro.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't add it to my card because I don't know anybody of the team.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird line, but you know what? I'm going to go off what I think I know. So, next one, Virginia Tech laying 20.5 against Middle Tennessee State. First things first. I will never bet against Virginia Tech in Lane Stadium. That is the most electric entrance in all of sports. I have watched that entrance into that stadium from this past week
100 times.
at least 50 to 100 times in the past 3 days. It is amazing. If you have not had a chance to watch, I highly recommend. I will go to a game of Virginia Tech sometime in the future. 100%. I don't know when it'll be, but I do want to see that live because it is absolutely awesome. How can a Middle Tennessee team come in against that? How are they going to compete against that? The Middle Tennessee team, that their highest rated recruit is a 2-star recruit against Virginia Tech, who has a couple 5-star recruits out there. They can't. They're not talented.
They're gonna have little brown stains on their pants before they even get.
Ready for this. And I have a soft spot for Middle Tennessee State. My dad went to Middle Tennessee State. I got a little soft spot for them. You ain't that guy, bro. You ain't that guy, pal.
You ain't that guy, pal.
MTSU, you ain't that guy. Virginia Tech's way too good. Yeah. Their defense looked great against North Carolina last week. It looked like the old Frank Beamer defense from back in the early to mid 2010s. Middle Tennessee State, since 2018, also is 5-8 against non-conference games against the spread. Give me the points, or lay me the points for Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's probably going to win this game by at least 26, 27 points.
I like that too.
Next guy, and this one hurts me a little bit because if you watch this show, you'll know exactly why it does. I'm going to take Notre Dame laying 16.5 against my Toledo Rockets. I love Toledo. I'm the biggest Toledo fan there probably is. I talk about them.
100%
I probably talk
not
about
true.
them almost every single episode. I've mentioned Toledo at some point. Huge Rockets fan. But like we said earlier, that Notre Dame offense looks legit. It looks absolutely great, and it's pretty simple. The playbook is simple here. If Cohn can build off of week 1 and what he did, where at Wisconsin he was a game manager, and Notre Dame, they're unleashing him a little bit more, you have elite quarterback play, which Notre Dame hasn't really had elite quarterback play for a while. You have an elite running back in Kyron Williams, who looked awesome against Florida State. You have the best tight end in football in Mike Mayer, who pissed me off because he dropped a lot of easy passes this past week. But, I mean, you see the talent. He is an absolute machine at tight end. And Notre Dame puts great tight ends into the league. And you have a receiver, Kevin Austin, who really turned it on in the second half of that Florida State game with big plays. He had a nice touchdown on a fade ball to the end zone. It was about 20 to 30-yard touchdown pass.
Phenomenal catch.
Absolutely amazing catch. He had a ball thrown out to the right flat about 5 yards, and he just stopped on a dime, and the defender went flying right past him, ran upfield for an additional 10 yards. He's never really done that in his career. I went back and watched a little bit. He's never really been that guy where he's put that up consistently, but he's also never had that quarterback play.
Yeah.
Maybe that brings him out. He was a highly rated recruit. Maybe that brings him out. And I can't go against a team that is facing execution. Plain and simple. If my coach is going to execute me, you better believe I'm dropping a 50 burger against my.
That was apparently like a memorial thing to Bowden. Bowden used to say that in interviews.
Yeah, I did not know that. It's interesting.
I didn't know that, and then like I was reading through a Twitter thread because he was getting shit on for it, and then like a bunch of FSU fans came out and said, like, nah, it's totally fine. Like,
oh yeah, I texted you as soon as that happened. I was like, that was an awesome quote. That was an
all-time quote.
That just
You
happened.
like really you can't say that nowadays. It's like the
But you
world's
saw-
too soft for that. But like the sports world loved it.
Yeah, I love that. As a sports guy, absolutely loved it. Next one, Miami laying 9 against Appalachian State. Miami, nobody expected Miami to beat Alabama. Yes, I didn't expect them to get just embarrassed like they were, but they were never going to beat Alabama. I think they're going to take out kind of a little vengeance here on Appalachian State. Appalachian State is only 3-9. Was it 3-9 against the spread last year? There's a significant talent gap between these two teams. De'Ara King was, and you can probably still say because it's only been week 1, is still a Heisman candidate at the end of the day. He's got to have a bounce back game here. I think they're going to put up a big crooked number. Turnover chain is going to come out. You're going to see some interceptions, maybe a pick 6 in this game. It's pretty simple. My philosophy in this one's pretty simple. Talent wins out in this game. Give me the 9. I like Miami by double digits.
I felt so bad for that kid who got the turnover chain and they had to put it back in the box. I felt so bad for him.
Tough look.
I hate to see it.
Yeah. Billy and I's favorite team next, NC State. I think the pick we are on together, laying the 2.5 versus Mississippi State. Like I kind of went into earlier. That defense is legit. That defense is a top 10, maybe top 5 defense in the country. They most likely have the All-American Drake Thomas at linebacker, who is just a machine. He was all over the field if you were watching that game. They have a really good up-and-coming secondary that's led by 2 veterans. I don't know the names of them, but 2 corners who've been around for a while. They can do some things back there. They have this nice 2-headed monster in the running game in Bam Knight and Ricky Person, who really complemented each other well. Bam Knight, we kind of knew what he was going to be coming into the season. Ricky Person, we weren't sure. They played great together the past week. Like I said earlier, this team will go as far as Devin Leary at quarterback takes them. Plain and simple. If he keeps playing like he just played last week, you can expect them to go pretty far. I think they can get into a big bowl game. I think they're going to challenge for a top 10 team at some point in this season. But why I do really like this game right here, against non-conference opponents since 2018, North Carolina State average margin of victory is 15.4 points. Mississippi State's not that great of a team. They're a good team, but they're not that great a team. They're that second or third tier in the SEC.
Yeah.
I'm not in on Mississippi State. I'm in more on Ole Miss than Mississippi State. So give me an NC State laying the points, absolutely.
Before you go into this next pick, I just see you flip-flopped.
I did.
Yeah, I love it.
I did a little bit more research.
I bet you did.
It was an emotion pick at first, and then as I did some studying, I was like, nope, I can't do it. And if I'm wrong,
all I need you to do is look it up. If
I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll live with that. But I got to change.
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think I am now either. My last pick right now, and like I said, like Billy said earlier, I'm sure I will have much more picks coming out this weekend. These are just my 6 top plays that I definitely will be playing, and I already have plays in for them. Boise State laying 26 against UTEP. I was on UTEP. Full disclosure, I was. I like UTEP. They're 2-0 on the season. But as I did some digging, Boise State since 2018 is 27-8 against the spread.
That UTEP Mountain West
is 7-27. UTEP kind of stinks, actually. I think everyone watched the UCF Boise State game last week. We both had it as a play for an over. It didn't hit, unfortunately. It started to get a little bit better to the end, but it just didn't get there. We saw, if you watched that game closely, the greatest Hail Mary attempt in college football history.
You watched that reaction, too.
The best attempt of a Hail Mary ever. Billy and myself, I don't know if we can throw it that far. I mean, my man, I can't say his last name, but my guy threw the ball 30 yards on a Hail Mary. Like, what just happened? This is a chance here because I actually redemption period. I don't know what his name is, but I do know who he is. I was doing a lot of scouting stuff today for quarterback scouting reports for the Eagles and just seeing what quarterbacks coming down the line I like. He was a 4-star recruit coming to Boise State this year. He's a freshman this season. So he's a young kid and everything. UCF's a pretty good team. They have kind of been pretty good for the past years. They have a Heisman candidate quarterback in Dylan Gabriel. He did some nice things. This is a chance to really kind of assert yourself as the guy for that offense. I'm on Boise State laying at 26 just because of that then.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you talked me out of it.
Listen, it's under the football numbers. It's just a good number. I think it's a good number.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There's NFL games on this week, boys.
We are back. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
This may be the best Thursday night football game we've ever gotten.
It's possible. Thursday night has just been atrocious forever.
According to Mike, this is the biggest opening spread in NFL history. I don't know. For the first game. Usually it's like two very good teams and whatnot. But this number, you're not going to have this number anymore. I have Bucks -7. I bought the half a point on Saturday, and I'll tell you why. I was going to stay away from this game. I was going to absolutely stay away, not touch it. I was like, oh, just watch it. I got a lot of stuff going on this week. There's no point in stressing myself out on a Thursday night game that I'm probably going to hate my life for. But the Cowboys are going to be without Zach Martin, probably their best offensive lineman. Then they're going to be without Zach Martin's backup. On the other side, he plays what, right guard, I believe?
On the right guard is Zach Martin. On the left side is Connor Williams.
Yes, there's another guy on the left side. I think he plays tackle.
Tyron Smith is the left tackle.
Yes, Tyron Smith. I couldn't remember his name. He's questionable with an ankle injury, and his backup is out. They could be without 4 offensive linemen. Think about that for 1 second. Let that sink in. Now, let's take a look at the Bucks' defensive line.
Just take a look at the Bucks.
Let's take a look at the Bucks. Let's take a look at probably the fastest defensive team we've ever seen. Those linebackers run a 4.4. They're absurd. A quick little stat.
Found the fountain of youth.
Yeah, I was taking this game regardless, and then Mike on FFD told me this great stat. Shout out to Mike. I told him I shout him out because he did bring it up. Usually I don't give him credit for shit, but the stat was so good it blew my mind. It's the best thing he ever told me. With Zach Martin in the lineup, the Cowboys run for 109 yards per game. Without him, they run for 44 yards per game.
Whoa.
It's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
There's another stat that adds to it. Running backs average 1 more yard per carry when he's in the game. Now, you may not think that's a lot. Over a 17-game season, 35 carries a game. That's 3 feet. 3 feet more every single time they're running the ball. That adds up a lot. That's 700-800 yards by the end of a season. Listen, you add in the fact that betting against Tom Brady is just never a good idea. The guy's 44 years old, playing like he's 21. Like I said, I was gonna lay off. The Martin news broke when the college games were going on. I jumped right on it. The 7.5. It was at 8, and then it went down to 7.5 on Saturday. I was like, okay, that's all. Maybe we'll get the flat 7. I'll take that. I like that. 7. That line came out, and I knew there was no shot. It's already at 8.5. You're not going to get this line unless you buy them by 1.5. There's no point. But I just wanted to give that out. I think they win by double digits, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't lay 8.5. But Bucks -7. I love that play, and I kind of lean the over as well.
We're on the exact same thing.
I told you. I texted you today. Go get it. Go buy whatever you have to do.
I have the Bucks at 7.5. I also have the Bucks at 7. All for pretty much the exact same reasons Billy stated. Billy filled me on the offensive line thing earlier, and I jumped and grabbed it as fast as I possibly could. A couple things that I have about it, things you have to look at the other way. Cowboys defense has to be a little bit better, you would think, right? No. I don't think it's going to be. Not on the slightest bit. What do they do to improve that defense in the offseason? You drafted Micah Parsons.
I love Micah Parsons.
We said this in the NFC preview episode. They did not need Micah Parsons. They did not need a linebacker. They needed an edge rusher, or they needed a secondary help. They didn't do either.
I'll say it again. I said it on FFD today. If Micah Parsons was drafted by pretty much any other team outside the NFC East, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Probably, yeah.
Hall of
He's a
Famer.
stud.
He's gonna fall into oblivion and just.
It's like, I said in an NFC episode, the way the NFL is played now, it's a nickel defense. You cannot have your three best defensive players on the field at the same time. You cannot have Jalen Smith. You cannot have Micah Parsons. You cannot have Leighton Vander Esch all out there at once. It doesn't work. You will, yeah, they are fast. They can run and everything. They cannot cover 3 receiver sets, 4 receiver sets that are going to be out there. The 4 receiver sets that the Buccaneers are going to throw out there with Scotty Miller, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans. You can't cover them. You can't put them on the field. It's not going to work. Scotty Miller's your worst receiver of that group.
Did you say Scotty Miller?
Scotty Miller.
You're forgetting about Antonio Brown, aren't you?
I said Antonio Brown also.
Oh, Scotty Miller's not going to see the field this year, man.
He'll get out there, 4 receiver sets. He'll be out there. I like Scotty Miller. I'm a big Scotty Miller guy. You got to cheer for the little white boy receiver. Got to hope.
He's made some of the I feel like every single catch he's ever made, he's falling on the ground, like backwards.
Clutch. That's clutch gene right there.
Just like falling down. Like I caught it.
This team has 1 pass rusher in DeMarcus Lawrence. Buccaneers got a pretty damn good offensive line, right? Christian Wirfs at right tackle is pretty darn good. He's going to be good for a long time. Their worst tackle is Donovan Smith on the left side. He's still pretty darn good. They've got a great interior line. Ali Marpet is one of the best left guards in the entire league. Ryan Jensen is a very underrated center. They have him right there. You're getting O.J. Howard back now also to add into this mix healthy to go with Gronk. Well, we already talked about the receivers. You add Gio Bernard to that receiving.
Gio Bernard's hurt.
Running
He's not going to play.
Okay, we'll just say for the season case, but take that out of there. Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette are a very nice duo at the minimum. But it's not going to be about running the ball. It's going to be about passing the ball. Dallas doesn't have the guys to stop it. Going back to last season, Tampa Bay was 12-8 against the spread. Their average margin of victory was 9.1 points, whereas Dallas was 5-11 against the spread. Their defense isn't going to be any better. Going down the stretch with Dallas this year, because it actually plays into my next play with Dallas in this game, is going to be the Bucs over 30.5 points. I probably will take the game over as well, but I love the Bucs over 31 points. Like we said, the Bucs are bringing everybody back. Brady is in year 2 with this offense now, an offense that is built for him. He has the continuation of all the players he's been there with and everything. Tampa Bay averaged 30.8 points per game last season. Dallas gave up 29.6 points per game last season. This is going to be a high-scoring game for Tampa Bay. They're going to put up a ton of points. He could hit this number in the first half very easily. I would not be surprised if Tampa's got 5 touchdowns by the half.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I really like the over, I don't know, I probably won't bet it, to be honest with you, because I'm looking for a prop I'll talk about in a second. But Bruce Arians doesn't care about running the ball. Doesn't care about running the clock, making sure he gets the win. He wants to throw the ball. He wants to run his offense the way it's supposed to be run. And I think that's why Tom loves it there so much. That's why he's like, I could play another 5 years. Because he gets to play how he wants to play. He doesn't have to have Bill in his ear, be like, we're up by 6 points. We might as well just run the ball 3 times and punt. He doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants to ball out.
You said that too, because I was looking up as you were saying that one final prop bet for this game. And it's Ronald Jones under 44.5 rushing yards.
No, he'll get it. He'll get.
I don't think he's going to get it. I think Fournette will see more of the field than Ronald Jones will.
Nah, I want you to do yourself a favor. Go watch some FFT tomorrow when the episode airs. So I explain why. I explain why there when we break down this game. Personally, I think Ronald Jones is going to be the starter, and Fournette's worked himself out because he's not that good. The prop bet I was talking about, though, was the prop bet for over in sacks. It's the only prop bet that's not up. I can't find it. I've checked 3 different books. It'll be up, hopefully, by Thursday. It'll be on my card. Regardless if Zach Martin was going to play or not, the Bucs are going to try to pressure Dak real early. Try to get into his face. Try to see if he can handle the pressure. Test his shoulder. Make him run. Test the ankle. They were going to put him to the limit, and I think that's it's free money. I think nothing's free, but over in sacks is usually 6.5. Tom Brady's gonna get sacked once. I'm sure of it. Like, it happens. Like, you just get sacked, make a bad play, you're gonna get sacked. Having 5 sacks against that O line with at minimum 2 backups, well, a third stringer maybe.
Like that.
Yeah, that's my
like
favorite play of the NFL week, and I don't have a number for it.
Yeah, as soon as we get the number, I want that number too, because I do like that play a
lot. Yeah, no, that's it. That's all we have. That's all you got, right, Morgan? I don't want to cut you off.
Right now. Obviously, our next episode that'll come out later this week is going to be much more NFL talk coming out, getting ready for the full slate of games. Billy and I have been discussing it. We're going to switch some things up going into next week. We're going to do NFL at the beginning of the week to try to get better lines for everybody. Get you guys be able to see. We can get them early, so you guys can get them as good, as strong as possible. Yeah. We'll pick up like we're just doing like how we did tonight. If there's a college game earlier in the week that we like a little bit, we'll talk about on the Tuesday night as well. But we'll hit the college action on Thursdays.
We should trying to even it out, get the best lines.
Yeah,
we're trying to. At the end of the day, we're trying to make everybody a better gambler. Like, we're not here. Like, we're here to make money. We're here to have fun. But you're listening to a gambling podcast because you want to be a better gambler. Like,
I know some people are watching this because they want to look at me. They like seeing my face.
Your mom might be watching this, but
at least that's one person who likes to look at this.
At least somebody looking at me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got someone taking a look at me, making sure I look good. You get a text from my mother right now. Stop playing with your hat so much. Stop playing with your hair. I'm so glad you cut your hair. You looked awful on the podcast with the long hair. Now you look better.
Right before we leave, I just want to say, right when we first started recording podcast, my mom's like, "You're touching your head too much. You're touching your face too much." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up."
It happens. What's gonna happen? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, like I said, click the link below, FanDuel, sign up. More importantly, click the subscribe button. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. We love you guys.
Like, subscribe, click both links, share to your friends, your family, your loved ones, your distant cousins that you haven't talked to in 7 years, your ex-girlfriends that broke your heart back in middle school. Tell them all about us. Send it out there. Let everyone know who we're working with.
Yeah, listen.
If you haven't noticed, there's a new energy to this show tonight, everyone.
Yeah.
We're very excited about this. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. We've been keeping it very much under wrap. We're super excited about it. It means big things for the show. It means big things, obviously, for us. It means big things for you guys. It means what Billy said earlier. We're going to be able to give you better content. We're going to get to give you better picks, more picks. We can really dive into this much more like we want to, because this is what Billy and I love to do.
Yeah, we love it. If you can't tell, if you couldn't tell that I'm adding 5 games, 6 games, 9 games to a card in the middle at 3:00. My games haven't even ended.
This is what we live for. We are sports degenerates. We are gambling degenerates. You saw us last year. We gamble on Chinese basketball. We'll gamble on Olympics. We'll gamble on soccer, golf. Heck, we might start gambling on NASCAR soon, for all we know.
I know a NASCAR handicapper. I'll FaceTime you this weekend. I'm gonna go visit him. So
I don't even know how you would handicap with NASCAR. That's wild.
Me either. I'm gonna find out. I'm having a nice long conversation.
Aside from our new links that we're gonna have at the bottom of here, where can I find you at?
You can find me at Billy FFD on Twitter. You can find me at Benedactyl on Twitter, and as well as you can find Mr. Morgan himself right there. You can find me on FFD_podcast on Twitter. And on Instagram, if you have any fantasy football questions, ask us there. We usually answer right away because we're just like you, addicted to our phones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, always trying to get the news. I have 3 articles coming out in the next 48 hours. I have waiver wire pickup or / streamers that you're going to want to see. I will have we kind of did an episode with Jared on how I set up my DFS, but it's more written out. It looks nicer, better information. I took my time with it. It looks real good. That's coming out the second we're done here. And then my DFS lineup. It's all set. It's ready to go. Like all that stuff. Subscribe. Morgan, what do you got going on? Where can I find you? Oh, and before I forget, let's go Ohio State. Let's go Buckeyes.
Let's go Buckeyes. We do like that. You can obviously find me at Betting the Diagonal as well, getting our picks out there. I am at MoWatts26. You can find me on Fantasy Football Degenerates as well, where I will be putting out my pick articles each week. I'll be working on my one for each NFL week during the season. I'll have about 5. It's the Morgan 6-pack that comes out. I'll have 6 picks for you of who I think are my top plays of the week, games I will be playing throughout the entire week. I will be working on that, and that'll hopefully be up for you guys no later than Thursday or Friday. Hopefully life doesn't get too busy, but like we already
Hopefully
said.
Thursday, so I don't have to do it on the road.
My editor told me Thursday. It'll be done by Thursday. So if you guys ever get to see what it looks like behind the scenes when I write, it's ugly sometimes. I love to write. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I type fast, and I don't know what I'm saying sometimes. Yeah. And I shorthand things and whatnot, and Billy just butchers everything I write because he will clean it up for me. So keep an eye out for that to be coming out shortly. But like I said, you can find us at Bed and Diagonal. Billy, I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, see me Thursday, baby. Let's go Buckeyes.